Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed. Go.
Just tell me we're going next.
We're going live right now. Welcome everybody to the oh, you were asking me what story next or something. Anyways, guys, welcome to the Cantina here on LRM Online's Genreverse Podcast Network. Make sure you're subscribed or following your favorite podcast app or on the YouTube channel, so that way you never miss an episode of this and all of our other great content, trailer reactions and stuff like that. We're sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow, and a little bit more from them later on in the episode. It's a special extra Cantina because, well, Obi-Wan ate up all of our time yesterday reviewing it, and we still have some news to talk about. So I'm here with Cam. What's up, bud?
Nothing much.
Enjoying your queen's 800th year on the throne.
Like that. Yeah, 70 years or something. So we all got a holiday today, but they didn't give us it as like a holiday, like extra. That it comes off your holiday entitlement at work.
Ooh, vicious.
I know.
National.
But anyway, I had no choice but to be.
We don't get. Yeah, we don't get a lot of at least in the military, we didn't get every big holiday, but if it was a national federal holiday, that never counted against you. So, whatever. Anyways, guys, Star Wars news, and since it's the age of Kenobi, we're going to have to start with a slightly potentially depressing Kenobi story. Making Star Wars came out either late last night or early this morning. I think there was a tweet last night or yesterday, but talking about a potential season 2 for Kenobi. Now, I will say this: we're probably going to end up accidentally, if not on purpose, discussing some potential episodes 1 through 3 Kenobi spoilers on this story. So if you don't want to hear that, you might want to skip over to the next chapter. So
I'll just say there's a lot of spoilers in that piece from MSW for what comes in Obi-Wan as well, which I just stuck away from, and we won't go into those. Yeah,
but so what's up, man? Kenobi season 2, something that was kind of, I don't want to say hinted at. People were saying, oh, if it's possible, if the right story and stuff is there, and it's something even before the first season came out, you and I were like, you guys don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
how much are you going to shove? Yeah, how much are you going to shove into the space between A New Hope and, well, the prequels versus and now Obi-Wan Kenobi's first series? Like, what else could you do without potentially breaking the canon? And now Jason Ward over at Making Star Wars is kind of saying, they want to not just want to do it, but kind of plan on doing it. And
it's been greenlit.
It's been greenlit. So
level.
What do you think about that? What do you think about this, Cam?
There's a couple of things. First, I'm not surprised because Obi-Wan Kenobi's been like the most watched brand new show they've ever put on Disney Plus so far. Apparently, that's the reports. So it's been insanely successful for Disney at the moment. With cast, crew all saying they'd be keen to come back, it kind of makes sense. But the one person that I kind of want to go back on is some comments that Kathleen Kennedy made, which we talked about a few weeks ago, and she'd said of kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, there would have to be a reason for it. There would have to be a really good reason to do it, a really good story that we think is worthwhile. And if they've sort of greenlit, if you like, a season 2, my guess would be they don't have that fully planned yet. They don't have a script in place. So while it might have been greenlit, I would imagine it's just been like, okay, we're going to try this, we're going to develop it at the moment, rather than, they've set up a shooting schedule and there's a script ready or anything like that. I don't believe that would be the case. The source MSW does say as well that there will be some things that were changed towards the finale, which is where I'm not. Obviously, they talked about that in some detail. I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to know. I want to enjoy Obi-Wan as it comes.
Try to at least
the end anyway. So. I'm not going to comment too much about that, but, they think that there may have been some things changed round about the end, but exactly what they were, I'm not sure about, so I'm not going to get into that until after we've seen Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I guess we'll wait and see. I'm not completely against the idea, but I covered this, so it's not quite published yet at the time of us recording this, but what I said was, it's not the problem with me, it's not necessarily exploring more of Kenobi's story, it's the other players that are involved in this, and I don't think you could go to the well with that twice. So, for example, I don't want, that line when Darth Vader says to, in A New Hope, I sense something, a presence I've not felt since... I don't want the rest of that sentence to be, last Tuesday when I fought Kenobi again for the 100th time. Is he back again this week? Shit. I don't want it to be that. So I'm
should have killed him in that fire the first time.
Suspend disbelief a little bit, because it kind of works with the canon in terms of how they've explained
Bending
it. Obi-Wan, they've bended it, but they've not broken it so far.
They've broken it.
Well, not to me. I know that's a matter of opinion, and I accept that. I accept that.
I do too. That mine's right.
But that would be my worry about a season 2. Like, I would absolutely be happy for Vader to be involved, but you couldn't have them face off against each other, and that therefore doesn't give you the payoff that you're going to get, and we've already had in Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1. I don't think you can give us another third duel fourth duel potentially, of how this is going to work between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Equally, I know your concerns about Leia. And how much she's been involved. I'm okay with it so far, but to involve her again would be a mistake. So then where do we go? Is it something which is purely set on Tatooine and doesn't involve Vader at all? Or could it be a story where, it's split in two and we see one side of it from Vader's point of view, totally unrelated to what's going on? It's almost like a Game of Thrones type situation where there's two stories going on, but they don't necessarily kind of correlate to begin with, and kind of work something that way, so that the two of them don't meet, and Obi-Wan has a more Tatooine-based story, or he has to go off planet for another reason. The problem for me always is, I get why Leia was used in this, because you have to have a really good reason to get Obi-Wan off Tatooine. So what do they make the next reason? So it could be something where he has to help some of these Jedi that he's now found out about that are helping people escape, helping younglings. Maybe somebody could reach out to him and he's evolved, his arc's moved on at the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he says, okay, I'll help, At the end of the day, by that time he thinks he doesn't need to be there kind of protecting Luke the whole time. And maybe that could work, but would it be as exciting as what we're getting in season 1? And that's the thing. It has to be kind of worth it. We have to get some good moments to kind of within the show to make it worthwhile. So I'm worried, but not like absolutely bricking myself about them doing it. It's just that if they do it, it has to be as good as this has been so far, and it's going to be harder to do a second time around for me.
Yeah. I agree, and I was the one that said, you could get him off planet if the goal is to lead the trail away from Luke, So that's something I wish they would have done. But now it's kind of like if something else Jedi related happens to Tatooine, then you're like, okay, well, why isn't the Empire paying more attention to it now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, though. It could be like Obi-Wan is communicating more. He's got people that he can talk to, and it could be somebody reaches out to him and says, he gets a message. They've found us, we need help, and he just goes. It could be as simple as that.
And you can see where the safe room in episode 3 could potentially play into that. There's a Jedi that is mentioned that he's really super excited to see to have survived. And so there's potentials there, but like you said, how do you care about it enough? And not only that, but how do you keep you're already bending and twisting and really doing some funky interpretations of original trilogy lines to make this fit in the canon. What, can you bend anything else? Like,
again, if the story didn't have Vader and Obi-Wan meeting in any way, there isn't really any canon to worry about as such.
Right, but then there's the, like you said, do you care enough? Can it be good enough? And
good enough if you don't have that again.
Exactly. And do you want to do a whole story on Tatooine by chance? Because I'll be honest, I don't. I'm ready to be done with that rock.
I've seen enough Tatooine, and I've got a friend who isn't much of a Star Wars fan, but he's been watching the Disney Plus stuff. And when Obi-Wan Kenobi started, he's like, don't they have any other planets they can use but Tatooine? And I kind of said to him, look, of all the shows, for me, Obi-Wan Kenobi had to start and end on Tatooine. It's like the other ones maybe didn't, but it did. But I kind of get where he's coming from. They've done a bit too much Tatooine at the moment, and if we see Boba Fett, we're going back there again.
Yeah, so. Mando's been there every season, and Fett was there, and Mando was in Fett, so yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I will say this: we know that there have been some awful people talking the wrong type of smack about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Moses Ingram, the actress playing Reva. But I do want to point out the scores right now for it. The critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is decent, 87% positive, but the audience is really low at 59%. I've only seen the number counter come up a few times, and it was like 1,600 or something like that for audience reviews, and over 100 for critics. Over on Metacritic, you've got a 75 from the critics, and there's only 18 of those, and out of 372 user reviews, you've got a 6.7. So even accounting for awful people, trolls, I still see this as kind of probably being in that like 65-70%. Yeah, I mean, positive. It's got some. It's all
going to be out there trolling. I don't think hard enough
to come and bomb it like that much
to do it with this show. But I have seen. You know what? It is strange though, because all the Star Wars communities that I'm spending time on, I'm not really seeing a lot of negative views. I'm
on
really
the
not.
On the Facebook groups. On the Facebook groups I belong to, it's pretty split. You have a lot of people. He let Obi-Wan go, and you guys can check out our review for episode 3. I don't know why I've got our podcast page up. Sorry about that. You can check out our review on episode 3, where we discuss, why did Vader leave him, and how much sense does each potential reason make. But it is pretty split there. However, I will say this: if they are younger, and especially if they're prequel fans, this is like they're happy as pigs in shit, man.
Yeah, but I mean, so far I've been happy, and I'm, as you know, I mean, you've not, and this is one of the first times we've been quite polar opposites on a show, I think, so far, because I've really been impressed by it so far. To me, it hasn't broke the canon. It's just bent it slightly, but it's where it's bent it. It's been worth it for some great moments, some great classic Star Wars moments that I'd have just loved to see from the time I was a kid right through, and that hasn't changed.
Before we move on, one last comment about episode 3. It was something that I wanted to bring up in our review. Not a big spoiler or anything, but when they're trying to go through the laser barrier. Destroying that made sense if they were going to take the truck. They weren't. They could have literally walked around the laser. There was no point in him shooting it. The guard base literally has space right behind it to walk around the building. Literally, when you see them when you see the thing shut down, there's a top-down shot as Obi-Wan and Leia start moving across from that laser barrier on the farm planet or mining planet or whatever. They could have easily walked around. The whole point of destroying the laser gate was to make sure a vehicle could go through, but they didn't even go back to get on the vehicle. They just immediately try to move. So there are some writing and editing issues in this show, and a lot of people even complained about that online too. And yeah, anyways, we'll move on. We'll see what happens with Kenobi.
Let's get into the
Mando.
Yeah, all the stuff coming out of Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, so why don't we start off, Cam, with the Mando Season 3 kind of like trailer description. Now, I know some people may have seen it online, but we would never do such things. We're good people.
I've seen it.
I'm just being very tongue-in-cheek, everyone. The only reason I didn't watch it myself is the only reason I didn't watch it, I'm waiting for a trailer to do a reaction to. So anyways, why don't you talk about what the description and stuff, man, or what you saw, kind of how you feel about it?
Well, I mean, first of all, we knew Bo-Katan Kryze was back because she was kind of announced on stage before they went, and what I would say about what we did see from Mandalorian Season 3 is it seems to be quite Bo-Katan centric. One of the first things we kind of start off with is Din walking into, it looks like almost like a throne room, and Bo-Katan sitting on what looks like the throne. There's some other shots from there as well, her looking out a window, maybe at Din arriving, I don't know. And, you know, that we know that from what Mando is doing, that he is going back to Mandalore to try and sort of cleanse himself, basically, because he's no longer considered Mandalorian because he removed his helmet knowingly, blah, 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 all that garbage that the armor said to him, you know.
Yeah.
And now he's going to go back to Mandalore. The first trailer that they showed, we didn't see this, but in the later trailer, we got to see a shot of what looks like the ruined capital city of Mandalore, you know, that's just been kind of completely decimated. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I know it begins with an S. Some space scenes, and then there was some scenes of Bo-Katan in action, and then there's a scene where she turns around to Grogu and she kind of says, you didn't think your dad was the only Mandalorian, do you? Did you? Sorry. And then it all kind of cuts away. You know, mostly it's all just kind of action shots and things that are happening and not really kind of anything in terms of dialogue. So it's kind of hard to get a real steer from it, but there look like lots of Mandalorians. Mandalore's definitely going to be a focus. You know, kind of where we thought this story might be going.
Where we were hoping it would go.
Yeah. So there was definitely nothing kind of hugely surprising. Grief Karga's there. We knew he was back anyway. Looks as if he's got a promotion of some kind, and there's something nasty goes down on his planet because they're all looking very tense. You know, I don't know, obviously what's happening there. So that's kind of what we saw from the Mandalorian Season 3. Toward the end of Celebration, we also found out there's going to be a sequel character making their appearance.
I got him right.
Mandalorian Season 3, which is Babu Frick.
Yeah. The only good part of Rise of Skywalker.
I said that on Discord. I think
sarcastic
somebody else went,
droid fixer.
There was no good part to the Rise of Skywalker. And while I get that, and I think we said that, and I think, Jonesy's right. There wasn't really any good parts
100%.
to the Rise of Skywalker. But, you know, as characters go, the little cute character of Babu Frick I kind of enjoyed. The whole scene he was in and the point of it didn't make much sense to me.
It was stupid.
I kind of like
awful writing, Terrio, JJ, and KK. Awful writing.
Yeah. But you know, he's going to be in Mandalorian Season 3, or at least a member of his species. I mean, just because we saw him and it looks like him, it could be another
look at the Trandoshans on Book of Boba
Yeah.
Fett, you know.
But I mean,
So,
even the clothes he's wearing, it looks just like Babu Frick.
yeah,
So,
IG 11 versus IG 88,
and given that he's good at messing
Forlone
about
versus
with droids,
yeah. But what if it's like a Jawa or Ugnaught species where they all kind of
maybe.
yeah.
Be,
Who knows?
I
I kind of hope it's Babu Frick. I don't mind them connecting to the sequel somewhat because, like I said,
I can't decanonize it. It's there. Now,
I can't. And in my mind, even I while I'll never watch the sequel trilogies, you know, like let me put this on. They do exist. I can't ignore them. I know that's coming. So why not use some of the good stuff? I mean, they fixed, quote unquote, to some the prequel trilogy via Clone Wars and Rebels, but I don't know if it's fixed anything yet, Cam.
That's for me.
Because right now it's just continuously.
I still don't like those movies, but I'd maybe like now when I'm starting my watch through, I'd maybe start with Revenge of the Sith, even though it's bad, just because it leads into what happens in Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I enjoy. And
you just watch the 6-minute recap before.
I mean, that's a good point. I could just stick with the 6-minute recap and just pretend it looks like this
Obi-Wan,
really cool story we've not been shown yet, and then imagine how all that went in my head. Actually, that's a good idea, Kev. I'm going to take you up on that.
Before we take the ad break, there is a little bit of Mando season 4 and beyond news that I'll just kind of touch over. Favreau had said that he's already writing Mando season 4, and that things will be informed by Ahsoka. So you've got early work on season 4. He said, with television, we're very lucky that we don't have to rush things through into an hour and a half, 2 hours. We get to tell stories slowly. So now, as Dave Filoni's doing Ahsoka, it's very, very much informing the writing that I'm doing for The Mandalorian season 4. It becomes, how should I put it, more precise. It becomes, how should I put it more precise. There you go. It's hard for me to figure out how I should be reading it while reading it at the same time. Brain injuries are fun. So yeah, we figured we'd be getting a lot. We know Disney is all about milking things as much as they possibly can. Look at the prequel era.
This for the day that we found out they had bought Lucasfilm, that they would milk it for all its worth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah. So
it would be good.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, that's the only hope you can.
And then Pedro Pascal asked about Mando being in a movie. He said something he said, quote, don't you think it's inevitable? I'm starting to get nauseous. Hold on.
Do you want me to read it?
I'll be all right. One more, I guess. You go ahead.
I need to find it first. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just do it. Don't you think it's inevitable? I personally truly I have no idea, but that would be a dream come true. Not that any more dreams could possibly come true. And then he laughs and said, maybe I've had my fill. And he goes on to talk about other things like seeing a trailer on a big screen and things like that.
And just the big screen experience in general.
Yeah. I mean, there's been shows that have had premieres on IMAX and things like that. And Cam, you dropped off. Are you still with me? There you are. I got you now.
Someone just tried to phone me, which I think was an accident because it was my wife, and she knows what I'm doing right now. So I think it was accidental.
So yeah, I mean, whatever we get, I hope it's good. That's all I hope for. Mando so far, I have liked everything I've seen him in. Yeah, there's little issues with some episodes, filler, pacing, or whatever, but overall, Mando's been good. It's not tied directly. I know Luke has been a big part of Mando, but he's not important to Mando series. He's important to little parts of the story involving Grogu, and you don't need to be heavy with Luke and Mando dealing with Mandalore. And then there's that whole idea that the Mando verse, as some call it, could lead up to a big movie ending versus a big series ending, like wrap up type thing. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's one of the few things about Star Wars these days that I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Let's do it. More Mando. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back, talk about some Ahsoka and kid stuff.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. From propagation to harvest, they have everything you need for your special garden. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Anyways,
good
yeah.
kids movies though.
There are plenty of great
I mean,
kids
when you think
and
about
family
Amblin,
movies, but
you think
but every
kids
time I think
movies
of,
that adults love as well.
I
That's
agree.
what I think.
But every time I think of Star Wars for kids, I see Rebels, and I know there's some dark well, you guys say dark. I'll remind everyone that Stranger Things season 4 is TV 14. So yeah, as dark as Star Wars can get, their kids stuff is not. It's not really that dark. And that's my big issue. But anyways, before we talk about Tales of the Jedi and Skeleton Crew, Cam, Ahsoka got a first peek at Celebration.
They didn't get to see very much.
No, but you get to see some cameos, or not cameos, but characters from the animated universe making their live action review premiere. So why don't you talk a bit about Ahsoka for us?
I mean, the first thing was when we heard a little bit about Ahsoka and we saw Rosario Dawson. She was filming, so she couldn't come on like the first day of Celebration, but she did a little video all in costume. But she was there by, I think it was the Sunday. She came by and she had a friend with her, which was Chopper from Rebels, the droid Chopper, aka War Criminal Chopper, as the fans call him, because he's killed more people than Darth Vader, I think, apparently. But anyway,
through sabotage and
just through various
stuff,
he just loves to kill as a droid, but
00 or whatever his name is with Afra.
So Chopper was back, so that's a kind of rebel influence. And then in the trailer that they showed us, we saw someone who all the fans think is Hera Syndulla, in terms of the way she looked, the way she was dressed. Couldn't get a steer on who is playing Hera, although we did hear a while ago, we had heard that they were looking to bring Hera into the kind of live action universe as well. So it looks like she's in it. We already knew Sabine's in it, and there's a kind of shot of Ahsoka looking at something in the ground with symbols in it, and then we get a shot of Sabine walking with her back to the camera, and she's looking at a painting of the Ghost Crew. So Ezra, Kanan with a blindfold on, herself, Hera, Zeb, etc. And then it kind of just cuts at that. So I think from what fans are seeing is that, like we've been saying for a long time, that Ahsoka is the sequel to Rebels. It's the live action sequel to Rebels. And I think fans are starting to kind of put that together now and seeing that there'll be more kind of Rebels people showing up, and therefore it'll be a continuation of that story for us, given that they're searching for Ezra and Thrawn, and that was the whole story of Rebels, and where it ended up, it kind of makes perfect sense as it is. So that's pretty cool. The other thing, we saw a picture of the droid Huyang, who has appeared in the Clone Wars and was voiced by famous Scot David Tennant. And
he actually with no arms in the image on your article. You don't know?
Oh yeah. I'm just looking. Okay. Yeah, I think they'd just been cut off at that point. I think normally he does have arms. But his kind of backstory is, and David Tennant won an Emmy for his voice work on this one as well. And you would hope he would return, but for live action, but we don't know, obviously.
Love Tenet. That's my
but
doctor.
he's yeah. I think he's a great actor. He's actually not as big a star as he should be, really. You know,
Scrooge McDuck in the DuckTales reboot, which is by far
Jessica
the best
Jones,
reboot ever.
He basically made
Purple
Jessica
Man,
Jones
Kilgrave.
season one himself once he was gone.
Absolutely.
He still ranks up there as one of the MCU's best ever villains. You know,
I agree. And he was the Fugitoid for a season of Ninja Turtles, the 2012 series, which is my favorite version of the Turtles. So yeah, I'm down with Tenet.
Cool. So let's hope he's back. And Huyang is, for anybody that doesn't know, a really ancient droid, like, I don't know, potentially hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. It's just been working at the Jedi Temple for a long, long time, like, you know, probably as long as Yoda, and has always helped the younglings to build their first lightsabers, or kind of the start of that process as they go through. That's the kind of task that they've always performed. And his inclusion does make you wonder if there's some connection between how some of the younglings were able to escape and Huyang, who was there at the time in the Jedi Temple, and many would have assumed just maybe destroyed, you know, by the Empire at that point, and yet he's shown up in Ahsoka. So there's some tentative connections there. It could be, you know, for example, could be an explanation of how Grogu got out of the Jedi Temple. Yeah. Just you know, it's not saying that definitely is the case, but it's possible. So, yeah, some very interesting possible details, but not a lot because they're filming it now, obviously. So there was very little they could show.
You know, speaking of stuff dealing with Jedi and the Jedi Temple, we're going to be getting some tales about the Jedi, so some tales of the Jedi, if you will, almost like that title exists in that non-existent source material. KK said that they don't have. Tell us a bit about the upcoming animated Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi is coming fall this year, so it's pretty close. It's one of two animated shows that's coming in fall of this year. The other one being The Bad Batch Season 2, which we got a trailer for. But Tales of the Jedi is a series of anthology stories. It's done in the Clone Wars animation style, which you don't like, but I guess I can understand why they're doing that for the fans that do like that style. And it's stories about famous Jedi that we might have known and some of the things that happened in their backstories. So, for example, we see that Anakin and Obi-Wan are in an episode of some kind, as is Ahsoka, but it looks as if we're learning about Ahsoka's kind of backstory, how she got into the Jedi Order in the first place. We see her with her mother and sort of family, so maybe it's going to be a story about what happens when the Jedi identify someone and ask if they can take them away. Because, you know, I've always wondered about that myself. Wouldn't people just be like, fuck off? You know,
occasionally, I'm sure.
And, you know, the Jedi would just have to accept that or whatever. So, you know, it looks like that's going to be a story. Whether that's the same one as the one that Anakin and Obi-Wan in, I don't know. But I guess we know what there was rumours that those voice actors from the Clone Wars were coming back. I guess we know why now, because they'll be obviously clearly voicing them in that. There's going to be something to do with Mace Windu. We see some Mace Windu stuff. I'm assuming it's kind of pre-Clone Wars. It seems to be all pre-Clone Wars stuff. Maybe just a mission that Windu was on. I think maybe the most interesting one that we get a glimpse of was a young Dooku with his young apprentice Qui-Gon Jinn. Because, you know, that's somebody that, and that relationship between the two is one that I think's a fruitful one to explore further, potentially myself.
Could be.
Given where their journeys go, you know, and the polar opposites each takes. You know, one ends up turning to the dark side, you know, and becoming a mere minion of Palpatine, and the other one goes on to kind of change the Jedi Order forever and learn immortal life and you know, and help save the galaxy and all that sort of shit, you know. So it does sound as if it could be interesting, but without more context, without getting to see the quality of each episode, what the writing's like, we can't say for sure, but I guess we'll find out in fall.
You know, my only thing, it's anthology, that's cool. I'll end up checking out a few of these. I like the fact that it's anthology, because that means, like Visions, I can pick and select which one to watch if it doesn't really interest me. Although all but one of Visions interested me, or I liked all but one. Various amounts of like,
Yeah.
from like to love. But I just would, again, and when I say more mature, I'm not talking rated R or anything like that. I'm talking something aimed at like teens, young adults, but still family accessible. Do you want an animated Star Wars that gets away from that particular style of art and is aimed at, 20 somethings versus
It's a difficult
12 year
thing for
olds?
me. I'm not a big animation fan.
Yeah, that's why I'm
So
asking. Would you be
the more
curious in something?
realistic the animation is, the better it would be for me. So I prefer like CGI animation because I'm not a huge animation fan. So there's no style I would say I would rather have in any way. I mean, I don't like some of the anime styles.
Yeah,
where
I just mean something animated
Does this
or
all seem-
CGI. Doesn't matter. But the tone and style being,
but
story style
of
being.
course, I mean, you know me, darker is better for me in almost everything. So, for Star Wars, when it goes darker is when it gets the goosebumps going for me. So I'm always happy to see the darker side of things explored 100%.
Yeah. Well, hopefully whatever they do is good, and even things that are like we were talking about towards the beginning of after the break. Kid stuff can be great, and what if we had something that dealt with skeletons but was kid stuff? I mean, could that be cool? That's an awful segue
really
to Skeleton Crew.
deal with skeletons at all, because obviously
No.
that's not the idea of Skeleton Crew. But what do we know about Skeleton Crew so far? I mean, this is the show that we've been talking about for a while that was Grammar Rodeo. We kind of got most of the details right from what we heard, apart from the setting. We had heard it was set in the High Republic, which is not. It's in the same wheelhouse as the Mandoverse, but they just seem to be keeping things for this project very close to their chest until they were ready to reveal it. And although we had a code name and we knew a few details, we didn't know much. But we found out that it's going to star Jude Law, but the rest of the cast, who have not been announced yet, are all going to be young, sort of 10 to 11-year-olds. That's it's going to be a younger cast, aka Stranger Things, and it has been described by Jordan Mason of Cinelinx. He described what he had heard about it as kind of Stranger Things in space. We had also heard it would have a young cast. Not necessarily. I think we may be wrong. I think it was the way I worded it, aimed more at kids, but that's not really what we heard. We just heard aimed at starring kids, if you like, So Jude Law seems to be the adult, and the rest of the cast are going to be kids. Something to do with them ending up on a spaceship. Kids from a backwater place ending up on a spaceship, hurtling into the galaxy or something like that, and becoming lost or trapped. That's as much as we kind of know about it at the moment, and it's been created and really developed by John Watts, who directed on the most recent Spider-Man movies. No sign of who will be directing the episodes yet, whether John Watts will get involved as a director. Maybe he will for 1 or 2 episodes, I don't know, but that's as much information as we have, and we know it hasn't started filming yet, and they're probably still casting for that at the moment and getting the crew together, etc. But it is due to film this year.
Yeah, and look, the idea, and there's even EU stories you could talk about, the Eye of Palpatine. You could talk about Outbound Flight. You could talk about the Katana fleet. There's all sorts of these derelict ships, ships lost out in space, people getting lost out, and there's stuff, and those are all interesting stories in their own. And if they go for a good all ages, Star Wars feel for it, I'm down. But if we make it for 12-year-olds again, I'm going to be upset, and that's because in my mind, I I know Lucas said Star Wars was for kids, but for everyone that wants to give Lucas, after he makes his original trilogy going into Jedi maybe, and after Star Wars is for kids. Okay, you look at the OT and you clearly see that it's kid and family friendly, but it's not for kids, right? And then you got those that are like, oh, well, Lucas said it, and he was super duper involved in Empire, and there were several drafts that he touched and made directly for Jedi and yada yada. Well, then why are those three movies so tonally different than the prequels or anything related to the prequels? And Disney does more OT feeling with the ST.
The original trilogy had that magic formula of being for kids but being absolutely fine for adults as well, and having some dark moments in it. And
it's
that's why
all
I
ages.
loved it. That's why I loved it. Because as a kid, I hated stuff that was for kids. I always liked the older stuff. That's why I liked Star Wars more than other things that I was supposed to like at that age.
Yeah.
Because it powered your imagination, and just for anybody out there in Hollywood that's ever wondering, kids like dark stuff. They really do. I mean, why is Roald Dahl such a popular children's writer?
I know, right?
I mean,
such
Roald Dahl's
messed up
books
world.
are not all happy, clappy, everybody's good at the end. That's what you give to babies. Kids love reading Roald Dahl books because horrible things happen in them. And he makes them really fun and interesting, but still suitable for a child. It never gets graphic. It never gets, there's things that you can't do for kids, like sexual stuff. Nobody's asking for that.
No.
But you can absolutely do darkness for kids, and they'll appreciate it. People can be killed. People can have bad monsters do things to them. And as long as you don't show something graphic, and you just, somebody's taken away, and you hear the rumbles behind a wall, and you think they're dead.
Like,
that's great.
Have you seen any of Stranger Things season 4?
I mean, I know, but that's TV 14, and
that's what I
wouldn't let my daughter.
It doesn't have to be that much
Stranger
blood.
Things,
It doesn't have to be that much blood.
Who's 8, but my son, who's 14, he's not that into Stranger Things. Actually, I don't know why, but I'd let him watch it, of course. But I wouldn't let my daughter watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying we need that much gore or anything, but I'm saying there is a line that is way ahead of where people think when they think, oh, it's got to be kid friendly. Doesn't mean that it has to be for kids, aimed at kids. So
being for kids just usually means dumbed down to me, and actually,
and there's some
give kids more credit than you think they've got. They're not as stupid as you think. That's what I would say.
Exactly. I agree. Well, Cam, we did it, man. We managed to do a lot of stories in less than 45 minutes. If I can close out the the show before then.
I'll just say one thing.
Sure.
We found out the next movie that's coming is going to be Taika Waititi's Rogue Squadron. Still indefinitely delayed at the moment.
She kind of said that. KK had said that even before Celebration and
in the
Vanity Fair stuff.
But we kind of got that confirmed now, and we think it might be coming as early as kind of 23, 24 as the rumors. So other than
I would expect December 23. I think that's probably accessible for him, but I wouldn't be surprised
to make it between now and then. But
potentially. But I do believe that if they wait till 24, do you think they'll switch back to summer? Maybe. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. While you're doing all the fun stuff online, check out our website, lrmonline.com. Look, there we are on yesterday's episode of the Cantina. You can watch that. Check out our review of Kenobi episode 3. All of our articles covering everything in movies, TV, video games, comics, anime, conventions. Everything goes up on here. We've got interviews, reviews, news aggregation and opinions. We've got leaks, rumors, and editorials. All of our podcasts are available right through here as well, and you can listen to any of the great shows like Breaking Geek Radio or Anime Versal, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, anywhere you get your podcast from, as well as heading over to the YouTube channel. If you're not there already, hit the red subscribe button. Watch all of the great podcasts in video format, as well as the genre shot trailer reactions, which I do, and I did one for Final Fantasy 16 last night. Beautiful looking games, super excited about it. All of our social media information's in the description box or on the screen in front of you, as well as a link to our Discord, which we're always on there chit chatting. So come on, join, have some fun. Cam, anything else you want to plug or say?
Nope.
All right, guys. What? No?
As
Okay.
I said, no, don't think so.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us twice this week. May the Force be with you.